She's entangled our light-based powers.
So we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
Wait! Before we get started in this Marvel film that's in theaters right now, please do us a favor, hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. Oh my gosh, man. The Marvel stars Brie Larson, Tiana Parrish, Iman Vellani, and somehow Samuel L. Jackson.
Who sits a lot.
Who sits a lot.
I guess he's at that age now where just all your roles have you just sitting down. Because that's what he was even like firing a gun from the chair at one point.
I felt like this film was rushed. I felt like the writing was rushed. I didn't think Nia DaCosta did a bad job when it comes to like how the look of the film was, how the action was kind of paced or anything. But I just didn't understand what this story was.
I'll be honest with you. I loved it.
Because I liked it. And I loved it.
I thought it was great. I thought this was exactly what Marvel needs. It's just too late. Now, I can't help everybody. I can't help it if you don't like it. I really don't give a rat's ass. Not you in particular, but you, the general you, doesn't like it. I really don't care.
You can kiss my ass! Do you hear me? I'm guilty! I plead, Judge! I'm guilty, you hear me?
I don't care how much money this makes. None of that money's going in my pocket. All I care about is my entertainment value. And you know what? This movie, I think, addressed a lot of the issues that Marvel has. Number one, Marvel's movies are too long. This one
is a good thing.
Is a quick and breezy 105 minutes.
That's a one thing I really do agree with. Yes.
Why haven't they been doing this forever?
They gotta get their money's worth, man.
Why have movies gotten so bloated? You could feel how many times this movie had been edited down. They focused on one thing, and that's just the story. There wasn't a lot of like world building. There wasn't a lot of bullshit talking about, oh, do you remember in the last movie? Do you remember in the Disney Plus show? None of this stuff. There wasn't like a big spin-off type thing where like at the end of Ant-Man, there was literally a trailer for Loki. Like that made me like violently angry, right? None of this is here. This movie's not trying to make sure you watch the new WandaVision. This movie's not trying to make sure you watch, Doctor Strange, whatever the fuck. This movie is only concerned with the Marvels. Also, some of the stronger parts of Miss Marvel that I liked a lot, like Kamala Khan's actress. Thought she was fantastic in that.
She's the best part of this film for me,
and she's good here. I just wish she had a better role. Her role was super one note, and her role was "I love you, Captain Marvel," and then like literally she doesn't do anything else. I think she's got a great future ahead of her. Hopefully, outside of Marvel stuff.
Absolutely.
I think she's a fantastic actress. Tiana Parrish, what can you say? Fantastic actress. Brie Larson, she got the Oscar for a reason. But I also know the box office for this was low. And I know a lot of fans will base how they feel about a movie on the box office, right? Even though they get no money from it. The logic of that is bizarre, right? So, and not only that, I know that there's only one white person in this film and she's a woman. So the fandom's going to be upset about that. They like white guys. They love them to death. There's just not that many white guys in this film. These people, you can't satisfy them anyway. For the most part, when you look online, all the like 99.99999% of negativity are coming from exactly where you expect it to come from, right? Those people, you'll never satisfy them, right? They're only going to be upset, they're only going to be happy until they get a white guy on screen, right? Like there's nothing you can do, right? These people, you can't shake them, you can't convince them. So I always take those people and throw them in the trash where they belong, right? So it's easy to dismiss them, and it kind of sucks that the PR around the film is bad. Again, I know we got women in leadership here, we got women directing it, so Nia DaCosta's been going through it right now. Everyone's saying she abandoned the production, even though she left in post-production, which is totally normal. Like, it's the most normal thing ever. Why is she getting all this heat?
They expected her to be in the editing room at all times, man.
Yeah, what she supposed to sit next to you in the theater too? Like, this is to put this into perspective, right? Steven Spielberg, a director I love, a director I can't stop gushing about. He made Jurassic Park while Schindler's List was in post-production. Or was it backwards? But he made them at the same time.
I had just finished shooting and I had cut the film together when Steve Zalian finally finished his draft.
How far along were you in Jurassic Park?
I had edited the whole film, and all that was left was mixing and color correction and sound effects editing. That was left.
It's very normal. By the way, Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Okay, so this is not a new thing.
There's things I just didn't understand. I forgot her name. What was the evil woman's name? She carried the Kree bad guy with the hood. She carried that axe, and they're blaming her for destroying her world because she destroyed an AI. Okay,
they're blaming Captain Marvel
for destroying an AI, and I'm like, that wasn't explained to me. It may be explained to you and other people who really did enjoy the film.
Right? The movie's like, you did a thing in a previous film that we ain't like. Done. Fine. Okay. Do I have to go watch that movie to understand this?
They didn't
but
show
they did
it
in a whole other movie. But I don't think that was.
I'm talking about that instance where she attacked Kree. Like when she was there and the flashback happened and she said she came in and she destroyed freaking Zordon.
Yeah, that happened in the previous movie, right? Yeah. It doesn't. I feel like it doesn't matter. It's really just a placeholder thing, right? Our main character, who is supposed to be a hero, she thought she was doing something heroic by destroying this AI. Turns out it messed up the planet, right? Fine. If you want more information, watch Captain Marvel, I guess. But literally, you don't need any more information for that. It's in my opinion. In order for the story to make sense. Like, I get it. I feel like I'm very simple. I just need your movie to make some sense. Just a little bit of internal logic, and I'm locked in.
Every single time that they use their powers because of this rip through the dimensions, Miss Marvel, Photon, and Captain Marvel, they change spots. And the only way that they can stay in the same spot is if they use their powers at the same time. I thought that was a clever way.
No, they switched spots if they used their powers at the same time. But if they did it individually, they stayed where they were. So so if two people use it at the same time, those two people would swap.
Yes, that's what it is. So and that was very confusing to me. So there was a lot of confusing attributes to this film about it. The part that I felt like they could have put a little bit more depth in is that Iman Vellani's character, Miss Marvel, she idolizes Captain Marvel.
Right.
There's a part where they're on this planet. Captain Marvel tells Miss Marvel that we can only save a certain amount of people, or everyone else will die. Miss Marvel just looked at her all strange about that, but they never really delved so much deeper into the conversation.
Totally
and didn't give any like after scene to justify what she said.
The actress, I think, is great. She's very charming, but she's given nothing to do other than fawn over Captain Marvel. And there are even opportunities where, like you said, I expected her to have some sort of growth. Like maybe when she sees Captain Marvel leave like 100 Skrulls to die on that planet, she'd be like, you know what, you're not who I thought you were. You know, if I were in your position, I would have died trying to get these people out, but I didn't. You know, that might have been an interesting way for some sort of character growth for her character, but they didn't. She didn't. That moment, if I remember correctly, was never mentioned again after that scene. So that was a total misfire there, and I really wish they'd given Miss Marvel more to do. Both of our main characters are both like have military backgrounds. They have like science backgrounds, so they're solving problems and stuff like that. While Miss Marvel is just sitting there,
sitting there eating popcorn.
Yeah, just watching like we are, So again, that kind of thing makes me think that something was cut there, or maybe they just never thought to do anything more with that character, right? But the reason why I liked this film was because it was lean. And even times when I thought, we're going to dip into spoilers, so I'm going to put a little spoiler warning down there. Even times when I thought it made complete sense to do some world building, they never did it. And that was very strange to me. If you remember correctly, in the TV show Miss Marvel, it ends on the cliffhanger that Miss Marvel it's not the bangles that gives her power, it's something within her. She is a mutant. Yes. You're cut, right? That was that was a TV show. And so I'm like, we're definitely going to get more of that here. Judging by the post-credit scene, you would really expect them to lean into that. But they did not.
The only time that anyone who have seen Miss Marvel would probably understand that she has some type of power is when the bangles got off of her arm and she had to save, and she was still using her power in the film.
Right.
So that's when you're like, oh yeah, she is a mutant,
Right. In Miss Marvel, it's established she's got one bangle on her left hand, right? The insinuation is there's another one out there, right? And our main villain, the film opens up with her finding the other bangle. So you know by the end of the film, Miss Marvel's gonna get both, right? You just know it. You're really just kind of waiting for, you know, that plot point to tie up at the end. And sure enough, she gets both for one scene. And in the next scene, not only does she not have both anymore, she's only got one. The other one is missing for the rest of the movie. I'm like, what? Which makes me think that maybe, like I said, things probably got cut, things probably got reordered. And then why did our main villain, when she got the two bangles and she crossed them, right?
She died.
She died, but literally, I'm talking 2 minutes later.
2 minutes.
Miss Marvel puts on both, makes the exact same symbol, and it's cool. So
because
like
she has
the movie,
that mutant gene in her. It was meant
which is
for
something
her.
the movie probably should have explained so that we can understand what the hell is going on in the movie, but it doesn't, right? And like I said, these kind of things, this movie is not perfect. This movie isn't the greatest movie of all time, but it does everything that Marvel has not done in a very, very long time. And that is just to make sense and concern yourself with entertaining people with one movie at a time.
We're talking about the box office again. The worldwide total is $110 million. Yeah, it doesn't make the film like, it doesn't judge it to make it be like bad on a grander scale or anything to where, but from the movie studio's point of view, people ain't coming out there to see it, then they're probably not gonna make more movies like this. Okay.
I don't know. I think Marvel knows, and we were talking about it a little bit before we start recording, that they're in a bad spot because of their other movies. Like this movie's box office is interesting because it's not, in my opinion, a reflection on this film. The reviews for this film are pretty good. The box office is bad, not because this movie's bad, it's because their brand is bad. The Marvel brand has been dragged through the mud. And while at one point people knew that when you saw the Marvel logo, this was the sign that you're gonna get a funny, fun movie. Now it means you're gonna get slop, right? You're gonna get a commercial. You're gonna get a 3-hour commercial. Marvel has a lot of rehab to do on their brand. Let's compare this to Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Five Nights at Freddy's, I thought was absolute dog shit, but it made a lot of money its first weekend, right? Not a reflection on the movie because people hadn't seen it yet. But when people actually saw the movie, it had one of the biggest drops, probably in this year at least. I think it was like 70+% drop after that first week. That is a reflection on the movie. This movie, word of mouth was out long before this movie came out, long before the trailers came out, that Marvel was in trouble. And that's why this movie's box office is what it is. I think if they can make more good movies, then I think they'll be okay. But like I said, when I look out into the internet, right, my feelers out there, that's not what I hear, right? What I hear is they got the all-female movie, therefore, you know, every failure is always based on diversity, right? So I feel like if you're blaming diversity for the movie's failure, like just say you're like a racist. When most people see the movie, they'll see a reasonably fine film. This movie is fine. I liked it quite a bit. Let's talk about one more thing.
The after credit scene,
Yes, that's what everyone wants to talk about, the after credit scene. It was so terrible.
I knew you were gonna say it.
I was like, oh my God. All right, we already know the after credit scene. I'm not gonna go into detail about it. Blah, 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 blah. X-Men are back, right? But very specifically, the 20th Century Fox X-Men, which, I mean, guys, seriously, we need to have a heart-to-heart here, guys. When the original X-Men came out, the Twin Towers were still up, okay? When the original X-Men came out, Clinton was the president. Guys, we can do better than this. We can demand more. I don't think that makes you a fan for enduring the same movie every year for 23 years. That doesn't make you a fan, it makes you a victim, okay? Like we should demand more. If we're gonna introduce the X-Men, don't introduce the X-Men that came out during the Clinton administration. Okay, let's get a new one. Let's get some new stuff, some new blood, some new ideas. But people are so allergic to new things. The comics aren't even this circular. They will at least have a new artist come in to like zhuzh it up a bit, but it's literally the same set with the same actors. It makes watching these movies an absolute chore. It's so backward looking, so bad. I'm telling you, Marvel, if you want to rehab your brand, the future of your brand shouldn't be in your past, right? It should be in the future over there. There is someone out there, someone with a lot of talent who's chomping at the bit, ready to show their version of the X-Men. An X-Men, a version that would get you really excited, get you really pumped up, and make you not know what's going to happen next. But instead, they're giving that guy the middle finger, and they're still using the Bryan Singer stuff. I liked the Marvels. I liked it. But that post-credit scene was so bad, it reminded me why I'm frustrated with Marvel. Not only that wasn't even the only post-credit scene. You could tell that they added that later. They added that because they know that their brand is so bad. The real post-credit scene was like a setup for the Young Avengers. They're like, I'm starting a team. You could tell that was the one they really want to go for, but that doesn't get anybody excited.
When Hank came on, they were like, ah!
Again, that's just people recognizing things, right? They're like, I know what that is. Like, shut the fuck up. I know you know what it is. Everyone knows that you know what it is. Like,
I know.
Like, I know. Let's get some exciting stuff, you know? Some new stuff.
Look. Money, as long as money is the mighty dollar, they're going to continue to make bull crap. They're going to continue to do this.
No, they won't. They won't if you demand more. This is literally your father's X-Men, right? If you're literally getting excited over your dad's X-Men. What's your X-Men? What's the new X-Men? What's the thing moving forward?
We are not going to get people to write stories that we want and go straight to the comics. And we're not going to get it.
We literally just got it with the Batman, right? We got a new take on the Batman. No one knew what it was with the guy from Twilight, and they blew it out the water. They did something new. They did something special.
And still
did
people
something
hated
excited. That's okay. People are going to hate it, right? But you were talking about the money, right? It made all the money in the world. And it was an actual good film. Like, you can do, people, we've done this 100 times. Matter of fact, we used to do this very regularly in films. This new thing where we keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over until you literally are throwing up sick, which is why people are upset with Marvel right now. This is a relatively new thing, relatively within like the last 20 years, right? But within the history of film, they used to always do new things. They used to always remix things or do something new. Yeah.
It didn't take a overall massive amount of people to convince DC to make that film. That was just Matt Reeves saying, I'm making this. No,
DC
people were satisfied. People satisfied with Ben Affleck. Yes, they were.
The reason why we have this is for multiple reasons. During The Dark Knight, right? Christian Bale was like, I'm doing 3. I'm not doing another. Yeah. I'm not. You have to do something else. I'm forcing your hand. If he was like, yeah, back up the money truck and I'll make a 4th one, there would have been a 4th one, right? But instead he was like, no, I got other things to do. You can keep the money, give it to somebody else. I'm doing something else. So he's the one that forced the studio to do new things. With the Snyderverse did not make money. It was a mistake. It didn't do well. There are people who defend it, and I love that for them. I love it. They love it, but it didn't make the kind of money they're expecting. So DC was in a position where they had to keep trying things to get people back.
You guys better listen to Devin, okay? Get out there and demand more. Demand differently, okay? So we can get some good movies in here so we can review it, all right?
Quit being a boring fuck, okay? And demand new things. I'm tired of it. I'm getting real frustrated about it. I was so fired up about this, I pretty much forgot about the Marvels during the movie. I was like, why are we still getting this? Demand more.
I like certain parts of this film, but majority of it just confused me and it wasn't consistent enough for me. I'm going to give this film a C+.
Great. I'm giving this one a B. I liked the movie. I liked that Marvel trimmed the fat. Finally, we've been getting whole movies of just nothing but fat. Now, if you don't like it, I get it. Not everything can be for everybody. Thank God, right? Because that gives us a diversity of thought, gives us a diversity of feelings, a diversity of opinions.
Yes.
That is what makes life. When I saw this film, I was like, okay, so Marvel's learning their lesson. They're learning that people don't want XYZ, they want ABC. But then at the end of the film, I see the same old bull. Hopefully we can get new things moving forward. And I think at least getting a competent film for Marvel, I think is good.
Would you recommend for people to see this film?
I would recommend it. It's easy to watch, mostly because it is so short. But I know people have options these days, and they might want to wait till streaming. I totally get that. The Marvel brand, like I said, has been tarnished. If you don't trust that Marvel is good enough for you to go to the theater, I understand that.
I recommend you seeing this film on Disney Plus.
You wouldn't recommend someone going to see it in the theater?
Nah. See it at your comfort at your house. But more importantly, do you recommend this film? Have you seen The Marvels? Please get in the comments and let us know what you thought about it. I know you got a lot to say. Be respectful.
Or don't. I'll just delete you anyway.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I know we've been away for a minute, but we are here for your entertainment. So if you're new to seeing us, please hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. It's right there. I see you.
We have hot takes on all kinds of movies, not just Marvel movies, all kinds of stuff. Have you seen how many movies we have on this channel? It's a lot. So we talk about everything, man.
And if you did like this rating and review for this film, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit that thumbs down. Whichever you choose, there's your opinion. But just remember one thing, it's mostly wrong. See you in another video. Peace.